official NRL Fantasy Podcast.
Love that new voiceover that comes in just before we start.
I love it.
I don't know who it is.
I'm pretty sure I know who it is. He puts a lot of questions every week.
Does he?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Paulie
very
G,
special.
Luke Seifleet, Andrew Molinaroli. Good to have you back, Andrew.
Good to be back.
Interesting round.
Understatement.
There's a lot. How can we unpack it? Because to me, I'm thinking lots of things.
If you want to follow me for tips, don't. I got 0 from 5.
Oh no!
A lot of people have got
I think
0
so.
from 5.
No
mate.
favourite one, right?
No
It was
favourite.
all the underdogs.
I tried to go a bit safer, and then
Yeah, safe as houses. No.
yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
You're being too harsh on yourself, mate. A lot of people have got 0 from 5.
And I don't know if we should mention Twitter or X or whatever, but maybe stay off it. I don't know, like what's going on there.
Just do the old play and leave, mate.
Yeah.
Everyone that watches
Life
this
goes
show,
on.
everyone that watches this show knows what happened, and
Life goes on.
if you fell victim to it,
It's sad.
you play on. But this week you get to go again and
Yep. Yeah.
recorrect it. So yeah, play on.
The best part about rugby league, mate.
That's right.
Next
Like we
round.
always say, just
Always next week.
And planning for bye rounds, we've talked about it, and clearly, like the esteemed Brad Preston jumped a lot of ranks. A lot of people out there jumping a lot of ranks because they watched our videos, they watched this podcast or listened to it,
Yep.
followed the advice, because I think a lot of us, even those that were missing players they wish they had, still got good scores.
I think my most simple piece of advice last week would be just make sure you're on the website when you check those 24-hour team lists.
Yeah, 24 hours, 1 hour. Maybe there's certain guys you can trust, like Barry Toohey. There's others you can't.
just
Don't listen to
yeah,
them.
just not even that. Just if you haven't seen the updated team sheet yet, just remember you're taking a risk, and we'll leave it at that.
Come to the source of truth. Source of truth. is
Source of truth, mate. That's right.
Speaking of source of truth, get your questions in,
Yeah.
because we might answer a few early on. And so if you are watching live, get them in. If you're not, remember we're here 4 o'clock every Tuesday, so we can answer your question if you come next week. But if you're online now, pop them in. Just before we get to those questions, as people write them in, let's do some Origin chat, shall we?
Well, sure, let's go.
It is State of Origin, game number 1. Queensland versus New South Wales up there at the home of State of Origin, Lang Park, now known as Suncorp Stadium, of course. Andrew, it's another bumper year.
Yep.
Queensland, they've got a mix of experience. They've added a bit of fresh blood. They're going in as underdogs.
Surprise,
and they love it.
Yep.
So what's your expectations?
Well, it's up there. They'll be hurting from last year's decider. They've got Tano back, got
Yep.
Munster back.
Yep, big
Got my
news.
boy, Trent Liero. Remember on this show I said Corey's not going to get picked, Trent will?
Credit,
did?
I'm right
credit where
again.
credit's due. You've got
Yeah.
a direct hotline to Billy
Yeah, to
Slater.
Billy, yeah. We just think the same, two rugby league great minds. No, it'll be good. They'll be so hard to beat. So hard to beat
Yeah.
up there. I think, like Crichton for New South Wales is a worry, but yeah, Rob Toyer, I think it's all for Queensland. Like it's theirs to,
Yeah. What, you got a counter to that, Luke?
Not really. I just think the way this comp's gone this year, it's smelling very similar to '95. All-star lineup. Everything tells
New
you.
South Wales can't
Everything
lose.
on paper tells you New South Wales are going to win quite comfortably.
Yep.
But that little pit in your stomach's going, something doesn't smell right to me. Because again, if Crichton is out again,
Stephen Crichton, because obviously
Crichton,
Stephen Crichton, yeah, Critter. Team sheets will be critical. That is a big out, massive out.
Yeah,
because
and we don't know which way Daly's going to go
right.
if he is out.
But I'm just saying there hasn't been any mystery flu or illness go through the. It's all been New South Wales this whole build up.
Yeah, okay.
Outside of DCA, it's been all just.
Yeah.
What's New South Wales doing? What are we going to
Yeah,
do?
they've battened down the hatches.
Yep.
It's all.
And also too, and I think even Cale will admit it. His form's been down. So what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, DC is the oldest
Yeah.
Origin player ever
Yeah.
now. Like, it's just all written for Queensland.
I just hope
That's the way they like it.
I hope it's a good game, but I just got this real nasty feeling that, something's
Go
going.
sideways.
Well,
I'm
again,
looking to see the I'm loving to see these debutants, right? Max King, lucky enough to interview him when he first got picked, and what a ball of enthusiasm and just positive energy.
Absolute hard worker. All the good habits. Yeah.
Yep. You can't help but be impressed by what he's done on the park and how he is off the field. I hope he has a great game. Your boy Trent Liero, we know what he can do. We're hoping he has a big game. Both for more. Rob Toyer, these are guys that are very fantasy relevant.
I've just seen this movie so many times before.
What do you think
and
about
we
the
fall for it
Moses
every time.
Cleary halves combination for the Blues?
Well, I see why they're doing it, but we won't know till they run out.
I don't think it's going to matter if we got if Payne Haas is the key here. If Payne Haas, and it's going to be fantasy relevant too. I think if he's not cooking, they're in a bit of strife.
Yeah.
So because as Muller said, Tino's back. Munster's back. That's two massive ins. Like
They're
Tino,
just so off the cuff.
Tino.
Like as soon as quick play the ball, get Harry Grant.
That
Munster.
matchup right there. If Tino and Haas cancel each other out, but if Tino gets the advantage because Haas is a bit off, that changes the whole complexion of the game.
I can't wait.
So
Of course, Wednesday night. It's going to be awesome. Let's get to your questions now, shall we? And kicking off the show. First question coming in. Like a gyro. I hope. There might be a bit of a technical difficulty. Here we go. Cameron, Purdue, is he a keep with such a high break even? Well, you're right, Cameron, to be worried. So I was just getting all the numbers crunched
some numbers
over the last 2 hours, and I was looking at
in the lab.
I was in the lab, the NRL.com lab, and Purdue, even with a good score of 41, loses 17k. So
I moved on a couple of weeks ago from Jackson.
I like him, and I think he can have a Fletcher Sharp type
Game.
incline because of the way he plays. But I think you got to
Good matchup this week.
I think you got to deal with a bit of pain before you get the game, because he had those two really big scores. They're out of his rolling average now. So even good scores, he's going to see a decrease, and if he has another low score, he's going to really dip fast. So it just comes down to your depth, how you like to play fantasy. But I think he's got something in him to kick again. But I'm going to have to watch him drop below 500k before he comes out the other side.
We talked about it last week. I said the biggest match next week fantasy-wise is Tigers v Cowboys. Because the stipulation is here now. If you need one more look at him, because again that Manly Cowboys game was they were woeful.
Yeah, they didn't turn up.
So they've had a bye.
Yep.
They've had a chance to prepare.
How many
Purdue
Origin
going to
players?
show you something?
How many
Well,
Origin players
They've named him, and Peyton normally doesn't do that. He normally puts
Yeah.
him in his reserves,
Well, I think
and maybe
Everyone is desperate.
Everyone's
Yeah, that's right. It's such a desperate round.
Yeah.
So,
and no more buys for the Cowboys till round 27. That's crazy.
because I guarantee you, if he gets a sub 40 again, we're going to get 20 questions next week. Going, I'm off it.
Yeah, I get it, but I'm holding the faith, even though you're going to have to take these hits.
Well, you say every week. I think you need 1 week to look at it. You need to give it one look.
We need more.
If you haven't sold by the time Mollers did like a couple of weeks ago,
that's fine. You make
I
the
think
move.
you have to keep the faith this week, I think.
Terry Evans traded in Turbo last week, and now he's rested, so do I hold or get rid of? Well, there's only 13 counting. This is a great opportunity to talk about the 13, right?
Yep.
Because like last week, only 13 count. Unlike last week, most people are quite well covered for stock. So actually having a red dot, like a Turbo, could work to your advantage because you can use the loophole. So you pop Turbo into your starting lineup at wing fullback, and whoever you've got in your reserves, that's who you can decide between. So you might be running like myself and Iongi, who 1 week he can go great like last round, but other weeks he can score 20s and 30s. He's a great loop candidate. Having Turbo start, watch Iongi, see how he goes, put another wing fullback below him in your emergencies, maybe like a Tamale. And you can always, because Tamale plays last game, move him above. You just got to make sure the person above in your emergencies that you're targeting obviously hasn't played by the time that first game Iongi's one goes, because I think Parramatta play very late, so that would be your only danger doing that. But use Turbo as a loop.
Yeah, Terry, if you traded him last week, mate, it's not traded to 2 premium now. You can't just flick, because if he gets a week off, he might come. We don't know what's going to happen next week. So
He'll come back and carve. Go Manly.
King Blood's got a great question. is Couchman, with Couchman on the bench, do you reckon he'll be a last-minute start? Now, you talked about 24-hour cut-offs, 1-hour cut-off team list. They're the first game, Friday night, 8 o'clock. Because of Origin, Women's Origin, the first game this week is Friday, 8 o'clock. So it's 7 o'clock on Friday. Just hop on NRL.com, have a look. If he's starting, great. If he's not, again, if there's a way you can use the loophole, you can, because he has scored off the bench 60 plus twice this year, twice.
Well, before that injury, he was my first guy I was going to bring in. Then that injury happened. So
well,
I think the pedigree's there anyway. To be honest,
you talk about losing money. Even if he gets 50s over the next 2 weeks, he'll lose 60k. Yeah, because he went off early before the injury. So that rolling average, it's so. People that didn't get on him, all they've got to do now, they're loving it even more than people that own Couchman.
I didn't, so I'm going to have a serious look at him.
You got round 13 to look at him and round 14 to look at him. Yep. In round 15, when you've probably got to cover some guys on bye and Dragons are playing, he'll be just the right price. Yep. Let's do some... and there you go. Get your questions in and we'll answer throughout the show. I love it. It's a new edition.
It's a new edition.
Yeah, it's good.
Caught you off guard there, Paulie.
Good burner.
Good burner. All right, let's get to the previews, shall we? And we'll start with the Dragons v the Knights, their Friday night footy. And, well, St George Illawarra, they had the bye, should be well rested. They get Christian Tuipulotu back. They get Toby Couchman back. 2 big ins, Luke.
Massive ins. Massive ins. I mean, but again, they were impressive before the bye.
Yep.
No one gave them a chance to win that game.
No. Yeah.
But like I think we said at the start of the year, again, don't want to do the moles and take credit, but I said they're going to be an annoying team to play. Yeah. They're going to be an annoying team to play because they grind. They grind. Like they're not the most aesthetically pleasing team to watch. But I tell you what,
it's a flano team.
It's a flano team all over.
They get into the gutter.
And Couchman announcing himself now. He's a fantasy gun.
Yeah, so I'm watching him this week. He will lose money, especially coming off the bench. He'll probably lose money again next week. I love him for round 15. That's what I'm targeting. But if you own him, you're just happy he's back. Yep. He's probably back a bit early, so you could probably just loop him or just leave him out of your starting team for this week, seeing he's coming off the bench. Just watch him.
Little 52 off the bench.
Well, it's crazy. Mate. He's playing really well.
Unreal.
You talk about... there's a lot of player movement around, or whispers of player movement, especially with the Perth team coming in 2027. So I wonder where Little...
What a luxury.
Because at the moment it does feel like a luxury. What do you think about these Knights? I mean, that was annoying, the Leo Thompson news, and some of us with Dylan Lucas, because the rumours were he was going to be out.
Yep.
And then he played.
Yeah, and he scored a hat trick inside 20 minutes.
It's crazy.
If that's not absolute football karma, I don't know what is. Yeah. That's just...
If you traded him out, just trade him back in.
Yeah.
Like, that's my advice.
Yeah. But you're on the Fletcher Sharp train
98.
for a long time, having Paulie, so it's worked out.
I didn't see that coming, but at the same time, like Penrith just had a lot of experience out there.
Yeah, that's right. So the Knights probably took advantage of a
It was a must-win. It was a must-win. There was so much pressure. There was a must-win game.
But really, the key for them is can they back it up now? Going down, to Cogra, like that's a tough place to play on a Friday night in winter or almost winter. The throws.
They're always good clashes, these two. So I don't know. It's hard to pick, because again, like team off the bye.
And the one team that I might have thought would have been tempted to name differently would have been the Knights, just to say, well, Ponga,
give Ponga a break. And
give him the
Sharp
break.
Did well.
Sharp did well. Cogger and Gamble seem to have a nice combo there, but they haven't gone that way.
Sharp 72.
Sharp 72 on the predictor, Lucas 62. Kai Pearce-Paul was a little bit quieter, but still 50 in a quiet game's fine, 53.
Jeez.
So there's plenty of good players for the Knights, and still many weeks before their next bye, round 18. So, they're going well.
Good game.
Let's talk the Titans and the Storm, and this is Saturday footy, and of course both teams well represented in Origin, so we'll see which players back up. Everyone's been named for now. I'm just adjusting minutes when I look at how many they'll get in predicted scores. Like Tino's had a great year so far, fantasy-wise. He hasn't really been on the radar of teams, but I think he'll get a few less minutes. I think both Fermor might get a few less minutes, and then obviously from the Storm side, Harry Grant might get a few less minutes as well.
Well, he's coming back from his injury, so he probably ease into it, you know, depending on how much...
really depends how Wednesday goes.
Yeah, exactly.
And Jaden Campbell, I'm really keen to pick him up over this period because obviously the Titans, they're going to have a nice bye schedule from here on in. The issue, and his dual position, the issue I have though, Luke, I wonder, is the forward pack of the Titans, they've got a lot of big names, but are they able to lay that platform, particularly if the likes of Fodawaker and Tino can't back up?
Yeah, that's right. Well, mate, if they don't back up, you're going to literally see, it's like I'm not going to go back to it, but like the Manly Parramatta game. If your forwards aren't making any yardage, you're cooked, mate. It doesn't matter what your halves do.
It's really hard to target the right guys in fantasy when games are like that, because you could go, look at how well Tavanga and Kartoga went, but then other players were less because of the fact they didn't have their stars around them. So
I'm picking. I think Tino's going to have a massive game, and I think he's going to play massive minutes too. So
for Origin,
and I think Bo Fermel. I wouldn't be surprised if Bo Fermel starts.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I think. But that's again.
Billy loves him. Right?
It goes back to what we just said. The preview of the other game, the Dragons Knights game.
Yeah,
this is a very desperate game for them.
Yeah. Does
Des just roll the dice and just go, Tino, I need you to go again?
I think he does.
Because this is the Friday game, yeah?
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. Like, it's a 2-day turnaround.
3-day turnaround.
Sorry, Saturday.
Yep.
So what do we think about the science with that? Is it easier, the shorter turnaround?
Well, they all say it's easier to
be shorter.
Shorter, right? Like just.
I reckon they'll just go for it.
Well, Desi doesn't like to give Tino a break too often, so...
Yeah, I think he'll just go for it.
If that's your answer, then I think you're okay with Campbell, but I think your concern is valid if they don't play.
Well, especially when you're picking him up for the next little run, because you think you got this round where you only have to play 13, and you got round 15 where, okay, great, Campbell will fit in brilliantly, but they don't play, and then round 16, are they backing up? So all of a sudden, Campbell's upside is limited because he's not playing Origin, but the guys he relies on are.
Yeah, in a competition where you just can't get a read on the team, they're the worst for me.
Yeah,
I can't get a read on them at all.
It's tough.
It's just they could win this game.
Yeah, look,
because Bellamy goes, Harry had a big Wednesday night, have a rest. Munster had a long game here, have a rest, and they somehow pull out a 28-12 win. You go, they're back.
They did a couple of years ago.
That's what I mean. It's just so hard to get a kick read on.
And Andrew, the Storm, just one more bye coming up, round 15, and then they're the first team done and dusted for the year. So are you just watching really closely now the likes of Papenhuyzen, Elicia Katoa, if Grant does back up, he goes Jerome Hughes?
Well, I like Hughes in the run home. Yeah, Papenhuyzen, he's been scoring okay.
It's been going well.
But yeah, I mean, what is Harry Grant priced at now?
He's coming down.
So the hookers are so hard.
Yeah.
The hookers are so hard to
he's
to
down
get
to 625.
Yeah, so
he's 100% like a round 20 guy you get when Origin's over and you just grab him, because they're definitely playing the long game with these guys, like this team. Like, you know, like even I think shout out Lenti. Like Lenti picked up Katoa. He's braining it.
Yeah,
interesting.
So yeah.
Get your questions in. We're going to do some more at the back end of the show. Now let's keep going with previews. It's the Cowboys, it's the West Tigers, it's up there. These two teams, they've battled hard since 2005, so it's going to be a cracking encounter, and well, with only one winner. I think there's a lot of pressure on both sides at the moment. Andrew, what are you thinking in this game with so much off the field pressure, particularly on the West Tigers, but no doubt the Cowboys as well? They need to have a big year this year.
Well, I thought they were quite disappointing against Manly. Like really disappointing. Yeah. So I think they'll be quite fired up for that.
Yeah.
Obviously, Tigers need to prove that there's life after a certain 5'8". But yeah, I like the Cowboys here. I think they really, like I said, they were disappointing against Manly, and you could tell by Todd Payton he was going to put some work into him over the bye.
Yep.
So yeah, I think the Cowboys are. I think they're going to look pretty good against your boys, I'm afraid. Yeah,
I think I'm worried, but I almost feel the opposite. Like I feel like this is the week the West Tigers are going to put it all on the table. I don't know what you think, Luke, but I think May plays 75 minutes. so I'm making him captain.
Slow day for him.
Yeah, I think Coruscant is going to have another big game, and that, a 50 puts him up nearly 40 or over 40k. So he could be someone people are thinking about.
Well, I got Appy in my draft, and he absolutely rained it for.
Yeah. So I am looking at that and thinking this could be the opportunity. But on the flip side, you got Jackson Purdue, Scott Drinkwater. We need to see something from these fantasy relevant.
Well, the more I think about it, I think I've told you a million times, this round to me is the fork in the road, because I think whoever wins that game will go on a different path. I think whoever loses that game's going on another path entirely. Because I just think
the Reaper.
Well, mate, he's
standing at the road. Who's
game.
Coming to me?
And to Mollis's point, I think Todd knows it too.
Yeah,
I think he knows it, because I think
you can tell by all the team lists. They're not resting their origin.
Yeah, well, he's notorious for putting them all in the reserves.
It's crazy.
Seeing how they respond. But this time he's just too bad.
You need to win.
Cotter, you're in.
Yeah. This game and the one follows it on the Saturday, I feel are the two games that are basically, they really need to decide their fate. Because again, to Mollis's point, I don't see how they're going to rest guys.
He hasn't even named Lawton 14 to 17 to give Robson a rest.
Yeah.
You have to presume Robson's just going to play 80
minutes. Yeah.
Well, maybe not 80 the first time around because he's got.
You just have to.
Watson,
You just have to give Purdue a look here. I just feel like if they're going to fire, it's going to be now. It has to be.
He switched sides because Dearden obviously left half and Purdue was outside him. So now Dearden's playing. Now Purdue's playing right half. So it is quite a big adjustment. It would have been easy. It would have been nicer if we just saw him shift one in, but we'll see what happens.
Yep.
Let's talk Manly v the Broncos, and your boys need a bounce back, but so do the team you're playing. So we talk about massive games. This is pretty much as important as it gets for both sides.
Well, Broncos haven't been to Brookie since 2014, I believe. So it's
because of all the
magic round. And
we
took some. Manly took some games to Suncorp before that.
Yeah.
So it's good to welcome the Bronx back to Brookie Oval.
And we wonder if Payne Haas and Pat Carrick back up.
Well, fingers crossed they don't.
But again, like I said with the former game, I think it's too important, because I feel like whoever loses this game, I don't want to go too early.
Start planning for next year.
Well, mate, I'm telling you, it's going to require a bit of a win streak to kind of get back in the picture, because what's the saying again? If you're not in the top four,
you have to presume with some of the other Brisbane forwards that Haas and Carrigan play a little bit less.
You'd think so, right? Especially, again, the match-up against Manly.
I don't see how they can.
Yeah.
Their on-off numbers are just like, look at that Dragons game.
Yeah.
They fell to bits. So, it's tough. I mean, again, no elephant in the room, no Tommy.
Yeah, no Tommy. So that's the big one.
Oof.
And we're surprised. We're less surprised by Jake not being there. It's probably overshadowed that. We were going to talk about Tavanga, a lot on this show, and as it's turned out now, Turbo's out. It's kind of taking up a lot of the.
Well, we warned last week, right? So we said there was that flashpoint moment. The Cowboys.
You called it early.
Jazz got knocked out. Well, knocked out, but he got a HIA.
He got HIA, 15 minutes off.
He comes back on. Jake gets knocked out in the interim period. He plays the rest of the game.
He has lock.
Last week against Parramatta, he plays 80 because Takiaho did his calf.
He couldn't come back on.
So, I mean, that's just your little flashpoint moments where if you bring a bloke in, he's making heaps of cash for you.
Yeah.
So, you've got him for a 55.
Lock, and he'll play 65 minutes, I reckon, at least.
Yeah, I can't pick this one. I wish I could, but I can't pick this one.
Tavanga's the one I'm looping because I feel like he could get that really high score, but I might not need him. So it really comes down to, I think it's him versus Tarpanay at the moment.
Yep.
Which one that I end up scoring.
Should we bring up the Lodge with the price?
Well, he was 350k. He's already gone up to 376.
Because he scored a 50 last week.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
First game.
Yeah. And if even a 30 this week puts him into the 400s.
Well, I'm just saying, people out there that are looking for a mid.
If you're looking for a cash.
A quick fix.
And Manly, look at their bye schedule. It's pretty handy. Him available in round 15 and 18. It's pretty handy.
Don't try and talk me into Matt Logical.
I'm just saying, he's got to play though, mate. They got no big boys. So
if you're that way inclined, I'd be getting.
How far off is Reece Walsh?
Yeah, well, that's another guy to watch.
Well, yeah, we didn't talk about that. Yeah,
He's got a long way.
Because who's fullback?
Yeah, because Jesse Arthur's at fullback this week, so Cobbo back onto the wing. It feels a bit like chairs at the Titanic, dare I say. I don't want to question Madge. He's a great coach all time, but
could be Ducks and Drakes too.
Could be Ducks and Drakes because at the moment he swapped the hookers around and he swapped the winger and the fullback around.
Yeah. He's looking for something, and as I said,
he's looking for something, but it doesn't feel like it's that inspiring.
He's looking for the spark, mate. That's all I'm saying. So.
Sane can't do everything.
Nah, no. But again, I think it's all fantasy hinges on him playing this week.
And don't captain Payne this week.
No, I think it's a no-brainer.
Don't captain him. Don't vice captain him. If he's a laid out, you can move him around. Try and vice captain a Sharp or Lucas who plays that first game.
Yeah, good shout.
Right.
Yep.
And captain a guy like I think Terrell May when we get.
Yep.
I think so. Yeah.
Yep.
So just keep the powder dry. 'Cause I'm not sure what's going to happen. Let's get to some questions, shall we? It's me, he's back. Good to see you. It's me. We're in need of some new cashies. Any you recommend? Well, Joash Papali'i went well last week, and I don't know if he's getting the big price rises off the bench, but in saying that, you know my feelings at the moment. Most weeks you only need to start 13. So why not downgrade your 21st man and get a slow burn?
I think so. Well, I mean, he got put into the game fairly early last year.
Yeah, it was a HIA.
So, but I mean, there aren't too many around, are there?
His team, the guy predicted to go up the highest over the next 2 weeks is his teammate Jordan Samrani, another Bulldogs convert. He's at 380, so it's me. You might not feel like he's the right price to bring in, but if you're looking for maximum, other than that, most of these guys that we're suggesting are going to make a lot of quick coin are the mid value guys. So Coruscant, Smithies, Tavanga, even a guy like Colin Matangi who's a high priced, he could go up in the space of 2 weeks 80k. So Hamish Stewart's in that list, you know. So that's probably more where you're looking. Havili is a sneaky one as well, not quite to the degree of those guys, but he could make a bit of cash for you. So I think the only other guy I would suggest is the try scorer for Penrith, Hassett. If you want, because he kept his spot on the bench even with all the Origin players coming back. If you wanted to really go a bit of a left field dice roll.
Well, he's a goer. Yeah. He's an absolute goer.
That'd be the other one. Otherwise, we're waiting for team lists to help us out over the next month or two. With Tom Starling suspended, NT asks is Owen Paddy named to start? So do you think he really will do that, or will he come off the bench? Well, Danny Levi's played plenty of hooker for the Raiders.
Yes, well, he was their 18th man, I think, last week. Didn't he?
Yeah, he's named in the bench. So those two could swap.
They could swap.
I'd stay away.
Yeah,
it's
only a week. Starling's been good. He just got re-signed.
Yeah,
everyone's happy.
Yeah, Paddy's good though.
But if you own Paddy, which a few people do, then it's a good work. Aaron, good to see you, Aaron. Ponga is named in the first game, but can you trust him? It's such a short turnaround. Well, you're lucky, Aaron, because we'll know before you have to do any sorts of lockouts, because 1 hour before kick-off, hop on NRL.com. Don't listen to the imitators, just the main show.
I think we can trust him also. He pulled out of the Australian team because of Newcastle, so I dare say he'll play for the Knights.
It's very hard to tell. Again,
Sharp was great at fullback.
Ask me again in 24 hours.
I hope he plays.
I wonder if Aaron's got any Storm players. Do you reckon?
Mate, if not yet,
we need to see a team.
If not yet, soon, because I'm telling you, Alessia Katoa, Jerome Hughes, and maybe there's more. And you talked about Harry Grant in round 20, didn't you? So we'll have a lot of people will have Storm players very soon. Bradley Preston, have I missed the Jazz boat? No way. No way.
How good's the Avatar too? Billy plays.
I like it. I just think with Jazz, you are rolling the dice because Manly have guys coming back. They've obviously got Alloway back this week. When's Paseka back?
No, he's
not for a while.
End of the year, mate. He's Achilles.
But Taukeiaho was obviously
calf.
Taukeiaho's
they've
calf.
said 1 week, but
and then Jake, we don't know. So I think a lot of those moving parts could work against you if you pick up Jazz. But yeah, I mean he's making a lot of money. So.
Well, again, I mentioned it before, that flashpoint moment. People that got him in or didn't get him in, that Cowboys game changed the whole thing.
Changed it all.
Yeah.
I mean, you can play hooker as well, that's a thing, so...
Yeah. dual positions. They're very valuable.
Oh, very valuable.
Let's talk the Rabbitohs and the Warriors in Sunday afternoon rugby league. And for Souths, I think a lot of fantasy coaches will be eyeing off 2 players this round to bring in, Keon Kolomatangi and Ewan Aitken. Andrew, what's your thoughts on those 2 guys?
I like Keon.
Yeah.
I haven't really kept an eye on Aiken, but yeah, Keon, he's been working so hard in the middle. Sunday afternoon game, hopefully the weather's okay, so he'll just keep getting, hit up,
66 predicted score in 70 minutes, Luke. He might even play 80.
Well, he did the whole, well, Terrell May, you can do it, I'll do it too.
Yeah.
He basically matched him, but he went 300 metres. So Terrell did 60-something tackles. He said, I'll do 300 metres. Nearly broke the record.
Yeah.
He's effective. Everyone's effective.
Souths play 15 and 18. The only worry is if I bring him in, I could do the same thing I did to Max King. Literally bring the guy in, he has a great game, does everything I want, and then Laurie's like, I like him too, Paul.
Okay, yeah, so...
Mine.
So just on that...
So Laurie Daly's looking at Paulie's team.
Yeah,
I think he looks at my trade-ins and he goes, I'll take that guy.
So just on that, what you're saying, so people that do pick him up, and say, for example, Wednesday does go sideways...
Yeah.
What games does he miss? If he gets Origin 2...
He'd miss 15, 18 and 19. So it's not horrific.
Okay, it's not horrific.
It's not horrific. Like I'm holding Max King.
Yeah.
I held him last week, I survived. I'm actually happy to have
So he misses 3 games. Okay, so that's good to know for people, because that'll be
I think
kind
you
of
bring
important.
him in and we'll know more, right? If you, as you said, they've got 3 edges there and a 4th in Olakau'atu as a reserve.
Yeah, but he plays. The thing that makes him stand out is he plays middle.
I think
been going awesome in the middle,
you'd need to see New South Wales lose and one of the edges get hurt or suspended.
Yeah,
before Keon automatically breaks through. But if on Wednesday we see those things happen, then I'd say maybe.
I can just see if they do lose, I think he'll get a bench spot next game.
What about Aitken at 621k, Luke? He's done it for us in the past. He loves playing under Wayne Bennett, as many players do, but he seems to particularly succeed fantasy-wise since he's been
just a good player. But I'll put the question on you. Put the heat on right now.
Oh, I feel like
well. Will he get
big brace?
If you
stay out of it.
He'd be Cameron Smith.
The GOAT. Thanks.
Will he get DPP?
I haven't spoken to the authorities.
Swallow there.
Yeah, I haven't spoken to the authorities as yet. So I can't say one way or the other. My guess would be that if he gets named at centre again, it's a straight tick. If he doesn't,
it's up in the air.
It's going to be up in the air. It's going to be a 50-50.
Because that from
judge, jury, and next.
I don't do any of.
Well, that for me is.
Don't direct your hate mail my way.
That for me is the swing vote if I bring him, because if he gets that, he's coming straight in.
Yeah.
He almost jumps. Yeah, I'd be bringing those 2 straight in immediately. Yep. But if he doesn't get it, I think he can pass.
27k predicted price rise for Aitken this week, but we kind of almost have to, unless you just want to really go gung ho, the Griff,
Well, you've got Lucas, and also to shout out Kiatoga too, man. Like he's just.
Oh, it's one that got away.
Oh, mate.
I hate it.
I said he's confidence galore. He's offloading at will. He's doing.
He's like Steve Smith. Steve Smith's first game in for Australia. You're like, oh well. That was
that's a fair comparison.
Well, Katoga's first couple of games, you just thought he'll be back in the bench. Now he looks like a world beater.
One of the greatest players ever. They're sweet. Okay,
well, I'm just saying that's what happened. It was a long time ago.
Okay.
So anyway, Katoga, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Rabbitohs and we're talking about Warriors, and we need to talk about the fact that Barnett and Fisher Harris are back. Does that help Clark or hurt him?
I don't think it matters.
I don't think it matters. He just plays a different role.
I think so.
He's Tohu Harris now.
He can do both.
He's like
he'd take the first hit up in long
it's crazy. It's crazy.
Still got a 61.
No one saw it coming.
And he passed one of the very first big fantasy tests too, because you were sweating on him coming back on the field on Sunday. You go, "Where's Clark? What's going on?" He had
a friend of the show, Scott Baldwin, was G'ing me up. I think he said he's got a text from a mate. He's hurt. He hasn't come back on.
It's not like someone winding you up, Paulie.
But I stayed very calm. I said, no, I think he'll be all right.
So he had a massive rest in that game, and he's still got a 60. What did he get? 60.
I think he played 63 minutes and got 61.
Well,
PPM's pretty.
And you've got him projected. He's 71.
71 at 65 minutes.
Well, he's on
Rabbitohs. We know their middles aren't as big as some other teams, right? When you've got Arrow and Colomatungi as your starting props, as good as the players they are, then they're not massive.
We went toe to toe with Tarpany, and
good player, mate.
And with Fish, Harris, and Barnett bending back the line, and then him coming out those offloads will return.
Quick play the balls.
The only problem, obviously, is people picked up Halasima, people that picked up Mamunga, and people picked up Laban. They're now all down the rung. So this is the week. If you own those three guys, just sell them.
Go. Everything must go.
Time to sell.
Okay.
Panthers v the Eels. It is the rematch of the 2022 grand final. So it's hard to remember all of them because Penrith have been in so many, but it's pretty much a must-win game for the Panthers. And they're
coming last. It's crazy.
Ivan's named them all.
Well, he has no choice.
He has to.
He has no choice.
So if you held Cleary, you're happy.
Yep.
Because he'll probably get a monster score.
Yep.
He would even be a captain option if Terrell May wasn't Terrell May.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not recommending seeing him just because if there's laid outs, etc. But you could also do that if you really wanted to. Is there anything else we see, or just start Cleary with confidence? And some people would have held Yo, but this is a tricky one.
Yeah, it's very tricky.
Did anyone get rid of Yo or Cleary? That's news to me. I kept Cleary because of Origin.
People got rid of Yo.
Yeah,
because this week's tough. If you own Haas,
short memories. My God. People.
Well, if you own Haas, May, this is a good time to bring it up. Arpanay and Yo, it's 4 pretty good mids. Only 3 are going to count.
That's right.
How do you make that call?
That's why people made the call. Yeah.
Is Yo stuck on your bench this week, or are you playing him ahead of Tarpanay?
Yeah, I don't know.
Didn't think about that one, did you?
Yep.
That's why they traded.
We still hold him. God.
It's still good long term.
Yeah.
People are playing to win.
Everyone's got flush with trades, dude. Crying they need more trades at round 27.
Yeah, I'd be keen to see when we get to it. I'd love to even know now, like overall scores, like the people that are at the top compared to other years. It just feels like each
year,
this year, the people just keep pushing that envelope a bit more, and the scores have to be higher to be in the top 100, top 1,000, top 2,000. So. Yeah, Yo becomes a sell when most years we would have held him. Parramatta, love what Kartoga's doing. Love what Samrani's doing.
You got 51 you're projected as. That's
amazing.
Huge.
It's amazing. Riley Smith took a slight step back last week. Should bounce back in this one, you would assume. And my guy, Josh Papali'i, I'll be watching because... if he could get a start, he'd be a really good cash cow. But off the bench, it's
looks exciting, doesn't he?
Slow burn,
yeah,
but he looks exciting.
Just to pull the curtain back, I've never seen a bloke more disappointed with someone to score his first try in NRL than Paulie G on Friday night. Keep that cash down, guys. Keep that cash down. He's blowing up deluxe. He goes, oh no, he's coming on the field.
Oh no, he's coming after 1 minute. Oh, this was my week to watch him.
You had a good look at him then, didn't you?
Yeah. Too good. But anyway, he's back on the bench because obviously Lomax's back. But if Lomax is, for whatever reason, laid out and Papali'i starts, I don't know, I'd almost make a mid-round trade just to get him, to get his cash.
Shan't be doing that.
Cash generation going.
Old Momax, eh? Get the Momax going. Moses Momax. Love it.
Love it.
Everyone's saying it.
Who do we like that game, by the way?
Oh, I'm going to tip the Panthers.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, really.
Okay.
Yep.
So just last stand, you reckon? It's just too desperate?
Just what I do.
Yeah,
Eels are cooking.
They've been pretty good.
They're cooking.
I tipped the Eels to beat the Knights.
Ryle's super coach.
He almost knows what he's doing. You know, like seems like he knows what he's doing.
It's not going to be an easy game for him.
No.
They've done well. I give credit to Riles for creating a team where they all want to play for each other.
Especially without your man.
That's the most important thing that they've done.
Especially without your man Bryce Cartwright.
Yeah, well, he made some tough calls. And it's not like guys like Gutho aren't playing well elsewhere. They are.
Yeah, he just pulled the trigger. He just started fresh.
Yep. He's deserves a shout out.
Yep.
Let's talk Roosters v the Raiders, and saving one of the best games for last again. How about those Canberra Raiders going over to New Zealand, getting the job done? This game will be tough, though. They've got to play at Allianz. I sort of got this feeling the Roosters generally do pretty well at home against Raiders, although didn't Canberra beat them, was it last year?
That was the Carnage game.
The Carnage game?
That was where it all went wrong.
Revenge.
So Cheese and Sam Walker.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Played a grand final too, not long ago.
Yeah, 29.
That was
it's the round of the grand final.
The Latrell Flick Plus.
That was amazing.
Cowboys, West Tigers, 05. You've got the Eels, Panthers, 22, and Roosters, Raiders, 2019. This is crazy.
Yep.
Even I was going to say Broncos, Manly, but they didn't actually ever meet, even though they were both very strong in the 90s. But that was the Super League era. So
Well, 88 didn't they come in 89?
88.
88, and Manly were the premiers.
Yeah,
and got touched
they played. The first game. So there's a
bit of history.
A lot of history.
Yeah, there you go.
But for the Roosters, if you held Siwa Wong, I think he's going to have a good game. Teddy should be fine. It's not a good matchup though, Luke, for him because the Raiders have been so hard.
Yeah,
they've had a great year. What are they, second on the ladder?
Well, their athleticism is just killing teams. They're just so quick and powerful. Like their forwards are just destroying people.
They're tough.
They're tough.
I hate to play against them.
I'll just shout out that video we made last year.
It's the Paulie G. It's the Paulie.
We said this is the 1990s reincarnate. This side that they're building is the same thing that Tim Sheen's built with
Spielberg over here.
Just a young
co.
Just a young.
He said it.
Young team, just enthusiastic, just athletic. Another important game.
Chip on their shoulder too, don't they? They've got a bit of chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
That's why I love that Roy on the weekend with Joe just ripping in, just going, doing this, and I loved it.
I've got Big Joe. He'll probably play for me this round. Fogarty will play.
Yep.
But Horse, I'm actually thinking of selling him. I'm a little bit heavy on mids now. And definitely mids that aren't going to play round 15.
I'll make a prediction. I bet you sell him after Wednesday if Queensland lose.
And that's right. If Queensland lose, he could be first cab off the rank.
Oh yeah.
Round
I don't know, man.
Anyway, so
I don't know.
Because I play the last game, I can just watch a lot of the round, and I've got Horsburgh just sitting down low, and I'll figure out which way I'm going. I might do to another players in this game, Mark Nwanga-Nitawaze. Because I don't own him yet.
Friend of the show.
Friend of a friend of the show.
Friend of the show, yep.
Very good.
He was a beast on that. That was again, that deserves mention. That was a real good matchup. Him and Iro were going at it all game, and that was a good, he got the little points at the end, little flick pass, but he got creamed, got back up.
I went Iro instead of Mark, but they 59-50, considering Iro was more money, you pretty much got what you...
Yeah, it was a good matchup.
And they'll both go better after that because they'll play easier opponents, right, than each other. So I like owning both of them pretty much all the way through.
Full strength, where does he sit in the back line though?
He'll go back to wing.
He's a winger. Right? He's a winger.
Which is what he's playing.
Because of his carries, Andrew. His carries off.
But he's not suspect. He just can be.
The bombs. You're worried about the bombs.
Yeah, it's a couple of errors there, but again, he's so highly skilled. His upside's amazing.
They want Billy. Their end game's Billy Smith and Toyer as their centres.
Yeah, of course, I get that. Yeah, you're not going to get rid of Toops.
And lastly, Tamale. Have we got any thoughts, Luke? What are you thinking? Because his scores haven't quite gone as well as maybe we'd hoped.
Well, but again, he's handy, mate.
Yeah, he's too handy.
He's a fantasy barnacle. You can't get rid of him.
Just hold him and...
He'd be doing nothing and then just make a break.
He's got good runs. He's just got those big important runs. If he squeezes out 40s, I think you're okay.
Fine. Yeah, that's fine.
He's another guy with a Garrick even. You could have Garrick as in your reserves. But if Garrick gets another 30, then you could chuck Tamale doesn't play to the end. You put him into your starting lineup. If you can red dot. I've got Greg Marju. He's not playing this week, so I can red dot him and pick the best wing fullback. So again, looping could be good with Tamale. And shout out to Hosking owners. I think he's going to come good. That game was very wet.
Yeah.
And
not worried.
New Zealand night game over there, 6 p.m. their time, kick off all the way through to.
He's all right. He's fine.
So it's fine.
It was a tough game. It was real in the trenches kind of stuff.
This game will suit him better.
He'll be
Fogarty passing to him. I'm predicting both of them to get 50 plus.
Sweet. Love it.
Let's get to more questions, shall we? And a good one from It's Me. Do you boys think Halasina will make cash from now because he's back to the bench? Well, I only have him making 5K this week, so I think he's a sell. I've actually had a bit of money in the bank, so I am upgrading my edge to Kolomatangi from Valmunga because I couldn't get Halasima. I had to get Valmunga when I made that trade all those weeks ago.
Yep.
But if you can do the same with Halasima or do a dual trade where you're getting Halasima up to Keon, same position, but Keon's obviously dual, and then going down with another player, I'd do that.
Yep, love it.
Dom Griffin, good to see you, Griff. Do I need to Galaxy Brain and go Valmunga to Fainu a week early and bank the cash? I've got 10 trays left to Fainu.
You'd be Samuel,
a week early.
Be Samuel, wouldn't it?
Well, there's so many Fainus.
Yeah, but I think it'd be the edge. It'd be edge to edge.
Edge to edge. Well, I'd do the Colo one, Griff.
He's probably trying to save money. He's probably trying to save. He probably doesn't make the cash.
I'd look at your mids. I'd be looking at mids that are playing in over the next few weeks who are and not, like Horse, for example, a few others, and I'd be making a move that way to save money.
Yep.
Hubba Bubba, I just got here. Is Tavanga still a buy? Because I need a hooker. It's a good question. Longy was on. He's going to do some. He's done some more, but he's been on the last few days. He doesn't think Tavanga's a buy. I do. So
I'll say yes then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The danger
I'll back
is.
you, Paulie.
Yeah.
I'll back you.
The danger is when does it run out because he could fall off a cliff.
Yeah. So if he when he falls, it'll be hard.
Fall hard.
He'll fall hard. So
that it's. What's the Clint Eastwood line? Do you feel lucky, punk?
Yes.
Like
Dirty Harry.
Dirty Harry.
Yeah, I don't know, Hubba Bubba.
I feel lucky.
Can you look at Aaron Clark?
Yeah, I feel like it. You know, Tavanga was there. He left. Aaron Clark took his role.
Yep.
And now Tavanga's said, well, I don't know why they got rid of me. I could have done that.
Yeah.
It really depends on Jake. Because the problem is, if Takiaho's back and then Jake's back next week. Ooh.
The other thing, Hubba Bubba, is this is pure jazz, right? One half of footy, 14. The other half, 51.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he was
crazy.
14 at half time.
Yeah.
It looked like the nightmare result for trading him in.
And what happened at the end of the first half? Takiao did his calf.
Yeah.
Played the rest of the game, but also Manly were playing from behind, so the offloads.
Yeah, I
came
get
in
that.
and all But that's the danger.
Yeah, I might steer clear. You've talked me out of it before.
14 in one half. That's the danger. Jack Abraham, do we think Grant will be able to turn it around and score some points on Saturday? Or do Queensland not get Origin/club footy? That feels
Beautiful
like
question.
a dig. And, we have to stay very neutral on this show. I think Queensland do get Origin.
They only get it when they win.
Yeah. Well, again, do we think Grant will turn? I don't know. I think he has to yet. That's the problem.
I'm going to keep waiting.
Yeah, I'll wait.
I think he's going to be like more the same. I think he's going to be a perfect pickup back end of the
What
year.
if he goes down to like 580k?
Yeah, get him.
I'm waiting. I'm hoping for that little dip under the 600k.
But then you're getting what you pay for.
Because what are you going to worry about?
Oh, set to lose.
What you got to worry about, Jack, with this, right, is he plays Origin, they somehow win, or he plays, big minutes, and Bellamy goes, I'm going to look after you. You've just come back from injury, and he plays.
Yeah, he's
they've named
still,
Wishart and Garlick.
Yeah, Wishart and Garlick are in the team.
14 and 17.
Bellamy's not.
So Grant could play 40 minutes.
But yeah, Bellamy's not throwing away his season on around 13 games. Sorry to say.
Yeah, you're right.
He'd rather take the loss in the end game.
100% right.
Minty Mono, what to do with Hubner? That's a great question, Andrew. What are you doing?
Jeez.
He's not in your starting 13.
No.
So
I think I got rid of him.
Yeah.
he's a unique, Luke. He's just that awkward price. Like 425, you can do a lot with.
He's done his job for you. He made some cash. So.
Unfortunately, he needs a negative thing to happen to become relevant again. He needs an injury.
I think now
to be back in the frame.
How they play their forward structure, their rotation, it's hurt him because he was this little guy doing the hard work.
Yeah.
Now they've said, let's just play small ball and have our big guys come off the bench, your Kepis, your Totolas. he doesn't need to play the minutes.
Well, Bellamy-
Arrow and Colomatonga play big minutes.
I was going to say Colomatonga
Bennett-
does everything.
Yeah.
Bennett admitted it. He said, "Man, I've got to get the lazy people back in the middle. Just go make it that way they can't hide anymore." That's what he said.
Yeah,
he
well,
goes,
there you
he said, "I want Cannon in the middle because that way you can't slack off."
It's amazing.
He's the best.
And he
He's the best
swaps
ever.
up.
He's the best coach.
That's why he's the best coach ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Frank Spencer with Munster being named. Can I let go of Savala, or is it worth holding him? Should Munster not make it? Look, Frank Savala got a 53 last week. With a try, but
2 try assists.
But that means that he kickstart his price rises again. So he should make a good 30K this week.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be selling him this
yeah.
week. I'd get that money rise, and then next week he's on buy. But I understand what you're saying. If your team's just packed and you want to get a guy like a Keon this week, and the only way to do it is to let go of Savala, and obviously
well,
you
that's
that.
the goal, right? Is to get those guns in your team.
Yeah.
And also too, well, some others do have them.
Yeah, Frank Spencer.
He, I think Sam Walker's doing full training now.
Yeah.
So after that bye,
So
he
next
might be in
that's
the
right.
team.
So my thing is, if Savala can somehow get 40 plus, he'll make another 35, 40K, and then you sell him next week. But I get it. If you're in a bind, just do it. There you go. The keg wants to know about Savala's job security. He says, I'm only keeping him for the money gains.
I think Walker's not far away.
I'll do it next week.
Who gets the spot?
That's the big
or-
question.
Well, a lot of people are saying Savala will keep the spot, but with
I feel like Smith and Walker are very similar. So I think having Savala and Walker might be a more balanced halves pair.
wow, that's a spicy take.
Well, mate, it's a big call.
NT, would you trade out Sandon Smith if you have him and Savala? Well, NT, that's another tough one because most people
Jeez.
moved on. You
I've moved
held
on
the
from-
faith.
Yeah, I've moved on from Smith. I've got Savala. I'm going to move on from him.
They both made 200,000 this year. So.
Here's another question. When Sam Walker comes back, who's goal kicking?
Well, you assume Walker takes it.
Mate, Sandon's been braining.
He has been braining it.
He was nearly at 10 in a row on the week. He missed the one at the end. He was on 10, 11 in a row.
Yeah, it's a good question.
What do you think? You think Walker will kick?
Maybe not coming back from knee.
Hey, you're right. Sam Walker missed a lot of goals back in the day. He
I'm just saying.
wasn't a great goal kicker.
We're a fantasy show. We've got to talk about this stuff.
Terry Evans has held the faith with Brimson and he wants to know start him or Marky Mark. Well, Brimson's been named in the halves. We kind of want Brimson at fullback,
Yeah,
right?
Marky Mark every
Gotta
day.
get-
Every day and twice
Brimson
on Sundays, mate.
Loop Brimson. He plays early. Loop him.
Yeah.
If he gets 50 plus, anything else, I'd play Mark.
It's not good for your health, Terry. You're watching Brimson at half time on 20 and you just go, mate, what am I doing?
I love Brimson too.
You take the 20. He's had halves where he's got 7.
No, it's not good for your health. Don't
It's
do
tough. That was an early season thing, and we don't have to worry about it
Like
now.
following Manly. At the
Oh.
moment.
Caligera edits. What do you think about Galvin with the Dogs? Now,
it. Well,
next question.
Can he play lock?
I think he will.
Well, Richo wanted him to play.
He
lock.
will eventually. Well,
Apparently, he didn't want to.
Richo thinks he's next John Sutton, which I can see.
Yeah,
But
it's a shame that they didn't let that.
it's a very
Could be like Isaiah Yeo styles.
interesting equation with him because, again, the chat is that Burton will go fullback.
I can't see it.
I can't either, but the problem
How many
is...
tries Connor Tracy saves?
I know, just saying.
Yeah, many times he gets to the ball just in time, knock it dead, and good tackler.
I can
Does
see
Matt
them
Burton
trying
have
to
that
move.
skill?
I can see them trying to not move on from him, but just having someone who's a bit more dynamic in attack. But I don't think Burton's the answer at fullback.
Brad Preston, what club should I be looking at? This is a great question as priority to get through the last bye rounds. So this is something I did want to address. I was talking with the esteemed Eric Wells yesterday, and he said it's the transition period.
Okay.
So what you don't want to do is have too many of any one club, right? So a lot of people were hard on Roosters. They're on bye next week.
And Raiders.
So Roosters are on bye next week. Raiders are on bye the week after. So if you've got Roosters players, you need to start getting rid of a couple if you're heavy on Roosters because you've got to play a full 17 next week, right? So you ease off on them. Luke just mentioned it. The Raiders, they've got to buy in round 15. A lot of people are heavy. Just look to ease off on them. If not this week, soon. I'm easing off by probably getting rid of Corey. Then you get in a good spot where you're nice and middle, and that's when you, after 15, maybe even after 16, you can pick up guys like from Melbourne, Dragons, Bulldogs, who are kind of okay either way. Your only danger in round 16, and this is the other thing I was going to ask you guys, with every Origin player named this weekend, are we really worried that in round 16, the game on Wednesday is in Perth, and just every club coach is going to say, we're not playing?
100%.
I don't see any of the Panthers players backing up.
Well, he's already said that.
He's already said it.
Like,
Ivan said it.
They can't do that.
They can't go to New Zealand in 2
They won't be the only club that does that.
Yeah.
So I've already factored that in.
So, Manly, Dragons, Bulldogs are on bye in round 16. So if you're too heavily invested in those 3 clubs and heavily invested in Origin players, you're probably not going to have a full 13.
Yep.
So just be aware of that.
Go off the Kiwis and the English.
It's good shout.
Biggest buys this week. Haraboy.
Yep. So we'd probably say what we said before, right? Keon.
I like Keon.
Keon Aitken.
Couchman.
I'm not getting Couch.
Yeah.
You're not? Wow.
Not off the.
He shut you down there.
Sorry, mate, but
No, it's
he's
fine.
playing off the bench, and he's
been
got a
talking him
80.
up.
His break even's 80.
Okay.
So no.
Outplay, mate.
Fair enough.
Sorry.
No, fair enough.
Yeah, those 2 for me, Paraboy, I think they're the most obvious one. And then if you want to go really spicy, like Paulie said before,
If you wanted to get a Tavanga who you missed or Marky Mark
Yeah.
who you've missed, even Kartoga.
Yeah.
Even Kartoga, like you and I don't have him.
No.
Oh, I'm thinking.
if he keeps playing like that, he's almost going to be a keeper.
Papali is a slow burn cheapie, Paulie.
I can't put him in the biggest buys unless he gets unless something changes and Lomax is out and he
Well,
gets.
let's just say
Yeah.
A buy, not biggest buy.
But those Souths guys, Souths have a nice buy schedule. So those Souths guys, and we're watching Humphreys as well, right? Another guy like Couchman, his break even's too high right now, but he could be very juicy in a couple more weeks. So
Like it.
A lot of watching, but Keon's definitely a pickup now. Jack Abraham, Manly v Broncos. This is just a pretenders matchup. That's a bit harsh. Are we confident Payne will pile on the point? I mean, was he listening when we did the preview?
I think he's having a big grin on his face while
We
he's
said
typing this.
Payne. He's.
I don't think he plays.
Yeah.
No, I think so.
I think he'll play. Will he? No,
Nice.
I think could be right.
I don't think he plays.
Nah,
They're saying he might not.
especially against the
Name to
Seagulls.
start.
Oh, Gold Coast Seagulls.
Gold Coast
are
are
back,
back.
aren't they? Morley Lewis.
Well, what a way to end the show.
What a way to end the show. Nice and,
Yeah.
confident.
Like I said, just really focus on looping and be really aware if you are going to use the loop, like how are you doing it, right? Because there's no point looping a guy, he gets a 40, you take it, and then the guy that you don't play gets a 55.
Yeah.
Or vice versa, they get a decent score, you don't loop them in because you think my other guy will get 50 and that guy only gets 30. So be really, sometimes looping can actually work against you, and with a lot of people having 19, 20 players this round, it could actually bite you to loop. So just be really cautious up front how you're playing it, what's the pass score you're looking for, etc. And if you've got a full 21, you're going to have to spend a lot of time working out who's going to be in my top 13. It's almost like playing NFL fantasy because the bench is so much bigger.
Yep.
And you've actually got to work out, well, who's going to have a good round? What's my matchups? The Tarpanay-Yo question. That's a tough one. Who do I play?
And please, let's have a Peter Friday. Just please pay attention to the team list.
Just team lists only.
We don't need that again.
Team
I
lists
don't need
only.
that stress in my life.
No more.
The cut-out,
No
the
more
cut-off team.
speculation.
If the player that is in question is still on the cut-off list, do not trade him.
It's annoying because Leo Thompson didn't play in the end, and he was on that cut.
Yeah, I was
But
taught.
Dylan
yeah.
Lucas did, and that was the one where the fake rumour went out that he was not.
Fake news. Anyway, move on.
That's life. And that's how we do it here at NRL Fantasy. We just stick to the official news.
That's it.
As much as we can. And Luke, Andrew, thanks so much.
Go the Blues.
Lots of fantasy
Go the
content
Blues.
online or coming online. So Longy was back this week, so just have a watch of that. It does help with a lot of things by round specific as well. And we'll be back next Tuesday, same bat time, same bat channel, 4 p.m. We'll see you then.